Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this narration of the web novel All is Fair-e in War, taken from Reddit with the author's approval. If you are new to this series, there is a playlist listed in the description with all the chapters. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Mason watched the aether craft in the skies of the capital, marveling at both the beauty of the ships and the amount of compressed aether present in each one of them. The ships were doing their customary parade through the capital skies before they went into battle, which always raised morale amongst the fairies present. Each one resembled a golden arrowhead with complex inscriptions carved into the hull of each one. They seemingly sliced through the air, with the smaller ones gracefully circling the Empire capital ships. And to think they're going soon to conquer what I discovered. I did all of that. Mason looked towards the street from the balcony from which he perched on, mirthfully observing the cheering fairies in the streets below. He saw many of them looking up at the astonishment and wonder, especially the younger ones. I guess that's how the Council of Acquisition keeps the number of soldiers up. Who wouldn't want to be on board one of those, conquering new worlds in the name of the Empire? Bro, did you hear about who would be heading the fleet? Queried Ansa, who had a hot cup of tea in her hand. Can't say that I have, Mason replied, not taking his eyes off the fleet in the sky. It's going to be Admiral Harvey, who has the honor of conquering the first world in their plane, apparently. I don't know too much about the details, but it looks like it'll be a fruitful campaign. Ansa put down the drink in her hand and reached into her purse, pulling out a strange item. Mason eyed it curiously, wondering what the item could be. She walked up to him and put a rather large box in his hands, which only served to make him even more interested. No, and by the way, I bought you something. Congratulations, brother. I always knew that you'd do something amazing. Thanks to you, our family has a bright future. So go on, open the box. Mason didn't need to be told twice. He proceeded to open the box with haste. The item inside the box confused Mason, which was apparent to his sister. What the hell is this? Some kind of miniature carriage? But why does it look so strange? Since you're going to be very wealthy soon, I figured that you wouldn't want an overly expensive gift. You always liked your gizmos, anyhow. So I think you'll appreciate this. Well, what exactly is it? I can't say that I've ever seen something like this, if I'm being honest. It's called a remote-controlled carriage. You use that little box with the buttons on it to control where it goes. Pretty cool, huh? Mason was already testing out the item, making it drive in circles on the floor. This is remarkable. I've never seen anything like this. Where in the world did you get this, Ansa? I can't say that I've ever seen anything like this. Ansa chuckled before she gave a reply. We received a report of someone selling illicit goods, so we went to crack down on them. However, just as we arrived at the location, we saw the seller leap clean over the alley wall, with most of his goods in tow. She sat down next to Mason and took a sip of her drink before continuing. I've never seen someone jump that high, which says a lot about how the guy in question didn't want to be arrested. My theory is that he managed to steal some experimental items from a magitech company, which is why he fled as fast as he did. He did leave this item behind, though, and since I know you like gizmos, I decided to give it to you. Mason chuckled heartily at the story Ansa told, while giving her a hug in the process. Well, that's the life of a security officer, I suppose. You're bound to see all kinds of wacky people. Thanks for the gift, by the way. I'll be sure to use it to its full potential. No problem, bro. Just be sure to remember your poor sister when you get gifted some land, she slyly replied, which caused Mason to laugh even more. Okay, I'll be sure to give you a little, but just don't waste it in pointless things, all right? His sister grunted affirmatively in reply. Mason returned to watching the people in the street below, who were still cheering for the fleet above them. I wonder if the natives of my domain will one day cheer me like this. Admiral, we've arrived at the border between planes. What are your orders? Queried the ensign on the bridge. Admiral Harvey looked at the magic crystal embedded in the control panel next to him, hoping that there would be an influx of additional information to lessen his uneasiness. Yet it never came. What came instead was an order to press forwards. We advance. We will take the world called New Harvest in the name of the Empress, and in doing so gain the best kind of honor, the kind that you can only receive in battle. Though the Admiral was slightly shaky on the inside, it certainly didn't reflect on his statement, which was a resounding success if the raucous applause was anything to go by. Calm yourself. General Hurst may have his reservations about this invasion, but this won't be too difficult. There's only so much you can do with the meager aether available, after all. Which reminds me, I should check on the status of the aether supply lines. Admiral Harvey straightened himself and took measured steps to his communications center on the bridge. After all, if he appeared confident, his subordinates will also gain confidence. And during war, assurance is vital. "Officer, update me on the status of the aether supply lines," he said in a commanding tone. The one addressed complied immediately, bringing up a projection of the supply lines, along with all of the Council ships in the area. "Although we are being impeded by having to lay down a channel of aether, we still seem to be making steady progress to the world in question. Security around the channel itself has been optimal. Furthermore, there seems to be no attempt by the enemy to slow us down, which is evident by the lack of aether craft attempting to intercept us. Everything is progressing smoothly, Admiral." The Admiral looked at the officer's data to corroborate his statement, which seemed to be completely right. He kept on looking at it, hoping to find something that the officer missed. Wait, one of those objects darting about? That can't be right. "Officer, I see multiple objects within the vicinity of the ship with changing velocities. What's going on? Why didn't you inform me about this?" he asked severely, which caused the officer to flinch. "Well, I didn't inform you because we didn't detect any aether from those objects, so there can't possibly be enemy vessels. I've informed the science officer of this phenomenon, and they seem to believe that this is a natural phenomenon which occurs in planes with minimal aether. Supposedly, that causes what would normally be stationary asteroids to other planes to change velocities and move in geometric patterns in as one." The Admiral stood there motionless for a few seconds, dumbfounded by what he heard. "Officer, have you considered the possibility that those might be enemy craft that we're looking for?" he calmly asked, hoping that the officer would have taken at least some kind of initiative. "Well, yes, but since there's zero aether coming from them, how could they be enemy ships?" "I want visuals on that object now!" The bridge jumped to work instantly, making sure that the Admiral's orders were fulfilled immediately, lest they draw his ire. Sure enough, he had visuals on the object 6 seconds later. The realization of what was to come slowly dawned on the Admiral, which caused his stomach to drop. "By the Empress, those are ships. Multiple enemy ships." The data provided showed that there were hundreds of these vessels rapidly approaching the Admiral's fleet. He took a deep breath and approached the center of the bridge, mentally preparing himself for what would likely be a grueling battle. However, any fear he felt momentarily was quickly replaced by a steady determination. "I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Shields up!" End of story. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Bezic, Try Again 95, Fudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Ithilia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksmorm. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.